Hey everybody, how you doing? Helen in the house, Fusion 7 Healing Mystery School. What's going on? Hey Tonia, how are you, my love? Okay, what's going on everybody? So we've got an interesting little transmission for you this evening, and it's all about alien abduction and what it is that goes on with that, what it is that's experienced with that. You know, is it real, is it false? Can you guys see me okay? Because the sun's right behind me here, but it should be changing shortly. I'm outside. Hey darling, how are you going? Nice to see you. What's going on? How are you, Amal? Nice to have you in the house. I am very backlit. Yes, I am. How about if I change position a little bit, shall I? Hold on. Is that better? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, it was pretty. Yay! Yes, because I'm outside. I'm outside this afternoon, so the sun's glaring. You know, it's quite, it's quite bright out here. Hey, Coach Bianca, how you doing, my darling? So here we are. Here we are. And we're looking at alien abduction, or, yay, nice to see you, alien abduction, or of course contact explored. Okay, so here we go with some points. Ask your call. Says, I'm in California. I believe I was abducted as a kid. Really fascinating. Fascinating. So would like to hear more about that once we cover the points, so stay with us. And it would be lovely to have some feedback from you. Ronahi, hello, how you doing, my darling? Nice to have you in. What's going on? Johnny Walker is in the house. It has, it's been a long time. I hope that you're well. Okay, guys, so here we have it. First of all, what exactly is an alien abduction? Yeah, what exactly is it? Well, what it is are memories or testimonials or testimonies of beings taking one against their will by non-human entities. Yes, so it would be non-human entities that would take one away from, you know, their earthly location. Yeah, so of course what we do have is we do have science, and we do have the mental health care professionals and the skeptics, and of course they will say that it's a kind of psychopathy. We're going to discuss that as well, that it's a kind of psychopathy, that it is perhaps a false memory syndrome, it's named, that it could be fantasy, that it could be a delusion, and that it could be some kind of a disorder possibly. Yeah, so these are the explanations that the skeptics, the scientists, and the health care professionals give. Hey Rob, what are you doing, darling? Thanks for coming in. So what's going on? Are you good? Nice to have you in the house. So yeah, so what are the claims by the abductees? Now, somebody claimed that they experienced it earlier on. Missed your name, darling, but you can tell us who you are. So the claims of the abductees are as follows, usually in this order too, but not always perhaps all of these, but this is how they might be listed by somebody who may have been abducted possibly. So the first in line is capture, obviously. I'm very interested on why would ETs abduct us against our will. We'll get to that in just a short while. Is that you, Emily? Emily, right? So Emily, once I've run through these, perhaps you can give us your 2 cents about it as well, yeah? Okay, Emily. So number one in line is usually capture. We're talking about alien abduction or alien communication, yeah? So number one in line is usually the capture, obviously. Then we have possibly examination, physical or psychological, yeah? Then after that we may have possibly a conference. So what happens is the abductors will perhaps share a prophecy or a warning with those that have been abducted, or they may perhaps take them on a tour, which may be of the ship, or they may be doing some kind of travel, cosmic travel, intergalactic travel, visiting or seeing some places that are in relation to the abduction itself. Now, in the examination process, which I forgot to mention, that could be like a mental examination or a physical examination, and usually they have a keen interest on the human reproduction system and also the human DNA, so that's something to be noted. Okay, So we talked about number 3, which is conference, and now we're on number 4, which one could experience a loss of memory or a loss of time, yeah, or time stands completely still because one who has been abducted could be beyond time. Thanks for the hearts, by the way, guys. I really do appreciate that. Okay, and so number 5 is a return, and sometimes to a foreign location to where the abducted person has been abducted. Sometimes their clothes may be dishevelled. Yes. What about reptiles? Yes, they may be reptilians or any other species. There are many species out there in the multiverse for sure. So it could be a return to a foreign location or the same location, or a different time as well, or a different date, or perhaps the same time and date. The 6th experience that may be experienced by one that has been abducted would be apotheosis, and apotheosis basically means divination. So they might feel that they have gained a divine insight from it, a divine intervention, or perhaps they feel that they have ascended to a new state of being through this experience, by experiencing this. So the 7th point that one might experience, of course, is the aftermath, coping with the effects of the experience, either emotionally, psychologically, or physically perhaps, or all 3, 1 of, 2 of, or all of them together. So our last point about this truth crew is it real? Do you have a personal experience with this? No, but I have had personal experiences with people that have been abducted. One of them being quite famous. His name is Andrew Collins. He is a crop circle expert, and I met him in 2012. And he told me about all of his abduction experience. And of course what I did was an intuitive reception to see if his experience was authentic, and it wasn't any of those descriptions that I mentioned earlier that the professionals in healthcare may have coined it as. And indeed it did seem that his testimony was quite authentic. So did it actually happen? I'm not sure. Was his testimony authentic? Yes, it was. So as far as I am concerned personally, this is my note now, I would say that it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible for this to happen. We must really take into consideration, though, that the scientific profession does actually have research to tell us that we were actually created outside of this solar system. So if that's the case, this does make us a vessel for alien communication. So the big question is, to wrap my 2 cents about it, guys, is, so what is the secret encryption that is in our DNA? What is it that we are carrying, you know? Right, Emily, yeah, you resonate with that. So definitely, we are encoded with a lot of secret information, and all we need to do is access that. And I actually cover that in my class Astrogenetics, which is coming up in June when I get back from Thailand. So yes, Emily, did you want to share, my darling, some of your experience to do with your abduction? And like I said, in my own experience, I believe they were examining my DNA. Right, yes, very, very common indeed, because they are totally fascinated by the human DNA, because the human DNA carries encryptions that other beings in the multiverse do not actually carry. So even though there are actually very advanced beings in the multiverse, there is something very unique and very special about the human genome. And this is a very common interest to beings that are, you know, not human, obviously. And we do go into that quite deeply in some of my retreats. It started with Archangel Raphael passing me the ability to hold healing energy for others. Was that Emily? Says Emily. And so, yeah, that's very interesting. Yes, it can come through from like angelic beings, angelic realms. It can come from star systems. After that, they were quite interested in me. So what was your experience that they were interested in you thereafter? Did it come to you in visions? Did it come to you in dreams? They would take me at night and return me to my bed by the morning. Okay, was it a shared experience, or was it something that you experienced alone? Was it generally pleasant, or was it unpleasant? Because with those bullet points that I mentioned, guys, it did come across that it could be unpleasant, but in many experiences it's also very pleasant. Not all beings are malevolent, some are also benevolent too. So some of the experiences can be really quite blissful, in fact. You know, as far as my you know, testimonies that I have experienced are concerned. I would not remember and would lose time. I was scared, but they did not hurt me. Interesting. Right, so those are some of the symptoms that I spoke of earlier, and you actually validated that you experienced some of that. And they erased my memory so I would not hold the fear. Interesting. My understanding is that sometimes abductees are imprinted with screen memory. Yes, they can be imprinted with a different kind of memory, so that when you get back to the earthly realms, you could be projecting something completely different, right? So it's very, very, very interesting. And Emily, how are you doing with the experience these days? Are you okay with it? Are you all good with what it is that you have experienced? And do you continue to have these experiences? I know I'm a healer and I have deep access to the Akashic records. Okay. The only thing is with the Akashic records, I invite you to be very careful with that, because many of the Akashic records, like other parts of history, are quite corrupt. So you do need to be aware of the light, the false light, and the real light. Yes, I am. I'm looking for ways to initiate contact. Great. So that means that you are beyond your fears. Just make sure that you are connected, perhaps to primary source, before you make contact, and that you do have protection from the Organic Company Alliance of Primary Source before you do that. Otherwise, it could be, you know, it could be that they are taking of your energy. Interesting. I have 3 levels of professional certification on the records. Oh, very interesting. Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of experience also with the records. And through many experiences, I've found that a lot of the records are actually corrupt, and this has actually come through with clients that I've worked with, and through lessons and through my own journeyings with the Akashic records. So you do need to be very, very careful as you progress. Not indeed, you know, totally respecting your level of professionalism with the Akashic records. But in all cases and instances, we do need to be aware of the artificial light. I'd like to know what you mean by that, if I can learn and deepen my understanding. Yes, I'd like you to PM me about that, because we're sort of veering off of the alien stuff and onto the Akashic stuff. And I do have some scopes about the Akashic records also. I have actually scoped about that. So if you go to my YouTube channel, Helen Christodoulou, and subscribe, you will find a bunch of data on the Akashic records over there. So yeah, it's very interesting stuff. Yeah. So that, guys, is my general knowledge about abduction and abductees. Of course, there is heaps more on the subject. This one was the general bullet points of how it goes and how it is termed by those who are skeptics and purely into the science and into the mental aspects of their minds and their brains. And perhaps we will have more insights next time on alien abduction and communication. You can private message me on fusion7healing@gmail.com. You can private message me on Twitter if you follow me over there. I can follow you back. Or you can also PM me on my Facebook too, Helen Christodoulou. Yeah, I have pages over there, Helen Christodoulou, which is my author page, and also F7H Truth Crew, which is another page of mine over there. So I hope you enjoyed this quick exploration of alien abduction, and if you are not following me on Periscope, then of course I invite you to do that also, and I will connect with you again at a similar time. Watch on my YouTube, my darling, Helen Christodoulou,